Being a physician, you're taught everything is black and white. You have this disease, you give this. This is the medication, this is the dose. You have to have fast reflexes, and you have to be able to decide quickly, and that's why medicine is somewhat regimented. And then on the science side, you realize that nothing is black and white and that everything is gray. And this is where the scientist comes in and the physician scientists come in to try to fill that gap and try to identify areas where research would actually accelerate discovery and accelerate bringing therapies to patients. Heart disease being the #1 killer in the world and in the United States has really created an ecosystem whereby we have a vast array of tools at our disposal, from diagnostic tools to therapeutic tools. The ability to use these tools as a physician scientist is really what attracted me to be a cardiologist. That is until maybe 9 or 10 years ago, where I had another motivation. My younger son was diagnosed with a genetic disorder that leads to heart failure. Maybe serendipitous that someone with my qualifications, a physician scientist that studies rare disease in the lab and sees patients, made me really see a different side that I don't see as a physician. I was told, for example, by his doctor that, okay, we're now have to wait for transplant. There's really nothing we can do. And knowing what I know, I told him absolutely not. I don't agree to that, and I want to put him on the medications that you say don't work for pediatric patients. And I pushed for that, and I got him the medication, he stabilized. And then, because I have a lab, I started looking for specific therapies for his disorder. And I realized that there are thousands of patients in my shoes. They just don't have access to what I have access to, and they don't have the understanding that I have. This may be one of the main reasons why I came to the Sarver Heart Center, so that I would have an impact beyond my lab, and beyond what I can do as a researcher. So, for example, me as a Sarver investigator, let's say I have an idea to test a drug or to ask a clinical question. I can write a protocol and get help from the Sarver Clinical Trial Unit to interface with the Institutional Review Board, or IRB, and then bring that clinical trial to patients, whether it's an investigation or a test or even a therapeutic. We also partner with industry. So, for example, a big clinical trial is coming online by a big pharmaceutical company. The more centers they have, obviously, the more diverse the patient population and the stronger the clinical trial. We're very lucky to have Banner Health as our clinical partner. They have been really a very strong partner, a very strong advocate for us to bring these types of trials to the patients. Being a physician scientist is truly a privilege. It's not a dull moment. It's also not a non-stressful moment. But I think there's a lot of reward in perhaps one day seeing your work being able to change patients' lives.